It's going so good. It's going great. Um, you know, the details about how it's going. I could talk for hours about it without saying anything, which is convenient because it's the end of your show, and I think that having no content towards the end of the show is really what you want. But it's been an interesting week. It's We're in the middle of the week,
Hmm.
and I've been seeing a lot of people, excited about the soup.
There has been a lot of people have been excited about the soup. Yeah, I talked about soup with Warlock recently, and maybe we can get your quick insights on. Maybe I think that it really grabbed the imagination of people, like that concept, reaching into the soup, grabbing the potato. How did that resonate with you? And like, what are your thoughts on that
Well,
metaphorically?
it's common practice when making a soup. A hot, boiling, sometimes liquid. To put your big old hand in there up to your forearm. I love soup. I love potatoes, which are often in soup, because potato skin looks very similar to my skin. And I sense a bit of camaraderie there between me and the potato in general. We both love to help support the Irish people. We both have eyes. We're both brown, and we both are often found covered in dirt.
Hmm. There are a few similarities. And I think that when we kind of dive into the soup a little further, one thing that kind of pops to mind for me is a core concept of soup is it's not just a potato. And I think this is maybe where we didn't really go fully into the metaphor. There are other things in soup, and I think this is where it really ties into Hedera and the broader ecosystem in Web3. If we look at this industry as a soup, you might have carrots, you might have celery, maybe you have some inedible objects that fell into the pot. Who knows? But it's
Yeah.
not. It's not. I don't. I think what we're talking about is not just grabbing the potato. It's about grabbing the other vegetables too. Maybe there's meat in there as well. The
And
broth
add
brings
some
together.
stuff in. You got
Huge.
this soup. You want to be part of the soup. Add your favorite thing. What's great about soup is there's not really a way to do it wrong. However you want to make the soup is how you make the soup. It's just like, well, I like this. Let's put that in there. I like that. Let's put that in there. But don't put too much salt. That can ruin the soup. I know people are taking real cooking advice from me, so just be careful. But yeah,
This is not just to be clear. This is not soup advice.
this is not culinary advice we're
Okay.
giving out here, so do not take it. Um, but yeah, Hedera ecosystems are a lot like a big old beautiful soup. You can put your favorite stuff in, and maybe if you see something that maybe you don't like in there, you don't have to scream. Maybe just take it out of the soup and put it on the plate.
I dig that. And I think also too what we're touching on is, and I think I want to kind of, as Mance would say, double click on this, but um, when we're thinking about soup, you're saying that it's sometimes it's better to err on the side of not too much caution. Just throw some stuff in there. You can make
Yeah.
mistakes, all those kinds of things. And what you're more so saying is maybe the issue here, if we look at this soup, Hedera has taken a much more conservative approach. They've been nervous to put in some of the stuff into the soup. They've been nervous of how it's going to react. And we're currently left with just a potato soup. And it's not very flavorful yet. They say there's more potatoes coming, but I think the community wants more stuff. And it sounds like Hedera is hesitant to just start throwing some of this stuff in that people want because they're worried they're going to get in trouble. They're worried maybe the taste will get bad. But what you're saying is with this soup, with this ecosystem, you're saying Hedera really just needs to start throwing some stuff in and not being too afraid of what the result is.
Yeah, absolutely. A soup is not made just with potatoes, and if you only have your little potato soup, you're gonna get bored of it pretty quickly. Um, Enterprise is a nice old big old potato. We love that potato. We'll put that potato under our pillow at night. But We need some other stuff. Web3 is not just enterprise. We've tried to have an enterprise focus, and not to say that we need to stop, but there is the ability and the bandwidth to
Mm.
do more with our ecosystem, because there's a lot of different weird bits and bops and parts that make up a wacky, weird, wonderful world of Web3.
That is true. And also, it sounds like where the ecosystem is at is it's kind of like we're having a soup party and we want to invite people over. But the problem is that people kind of open the door, they take a whiff. They're like, this is just some potato soup.
Yeah.
I'm maybe not a huge fan of potatoes. What else is going on? And we just don't have enough stuff going on in that soup. We don't have that party of flavors. It's hard to get people over to the soup party. And, I think that that's kind of what we're all feeling right now.
Yeah. And what's worse is some people are trying to make separate soups. Nobody
Mm.
wants a little mini soup. We need to bring all our soups together. You know, I'm glad that Lofier is he's getting on with the soup talk.
Mm.
This is important stuff. I will say, I believe that's how that's pronounced.
Mm.
Um, I am working on upgrading my webcam. A lot of you may have realized that, the way I appear on this webcam is not how I actually look in real life, believe it or not.
Oh,
I'm kind of my webcam is stuck in low poly mode. I think it's like PS2 level graphics, and
okay.
we're working on getting it up to at least Xbox 360.
Oh,
Yeah. So that'll be fun when that happens. We're working on that. Um, maybe not a extremely optimized Xbox 360 game, but I feel like eventually we'll get to that PS4 and the PS5 level. If people didn't know, I love them Vibio games.
mm.
I go on the Warlock's computer and play them all the time, and then he finds me, and well, he's not happy about it. But somebody's got to play that Steam library. He's got a bunch of games he bought, but he never plays. I don't
Oh.
understand that.
And back really quick, back onto soup. Something that just came to mind is there might be some soups out there with no potato. And sometimes I think that a soup that doesn't have any potato can also be a bit of a challenge. Potato fills you up, potato sustains you. So I do think that it's about that balance. And I think if we do look at enterprise as a potato, and we look at the coin market cap rankings as the best soup, I think that it's going to be the exciting pizzazz, the carrots, the peas, the celery, the chicken, the whatever it is that gets us to that top 5 of the best soup on coin market cap. But I do think it's might be the potato that helps keep us there. I think that's the challenge, is what's that balance? And I think that how we get there is to what you said, is Hedera needs to just, throw caution to the wind and don't worry about getting in trouble for what they're putting in the soup, and just start throwing some stuff in there. People are getting ready.
You bring up a good point, which is something that we should clarify. A lot of people think that when we say pivot to retail, we mean like just only focus on retail. We don't want to become Solana. It's okay to look at Solana and see what they've done successfully and try to adapt it for us. That's what you do in business with your competitors. We're not saying abandon enterprise. That's never been part of this, I don't know, mini movement we're having. We're not saying throw the potato in the trash. I like potatoes. I look like a potato. It's great. And we've got a lot of people we don't want to lose who really care about enterprise, and that's a good thing. That's what has been working for us, is that we have so many dedicated, smart people who are really into the enterprise angle, and that's what got you here. We're just looking to add some hot sauce in that soup.
Mm-hmm.
We're already top 30, right? And we've done pretty much no marketing, and we've pretty much not targeted at all the masses, right, that are actively engaging with cryptocurrency networks and doing what people are actually doing on them now, which is retail activities. I think it's weird when people who are retail criticize retail and say, I don't care about retail. That's you, buddy. That's you.
That's
You're
a
my
great,
spicy little hot sauce, buddy.
it's
That's what I'm
true.
trying to say.
It's the sriracha soldiers out there in the HBAR community. And I think that for me, I like, to be honest, Grelf, the last time, Gerbert, the last time I had you on the show, we talked about reaching into the soup, grabbing that potato, and I got an onslaught of direct messages, very concerned of like, are you guys talking about taking that potato out of the soup and throwing it away? Like, are you talking about abandoning enterprise? And
No.
I want to be clear that what we're talking about is taking that potato, grabbing the potato, embracing it, but putting it back in the soup, releasing it back into the soup. We don't want to remove the potato from the soup at all. That's not what it's about. It's about keeping the potato in there and just adding more ingredients. We're not talking about removing the potato from the soup, just to make it clear.
Right. Grabbing the potato, it's a very common phrase, and it just means getting involved, staying active and
Mm-hmm.
engaged in your community and your ecosystem. Because, being out there, being seen, and having some respectful conversations that people can, view and engage with themselves is the best way to enact change, especially when we're in a space that is so, so, so heavily built upon communication.
Absolutely. Like, for me, I think after this episode, you coming by and kind of chatting on this, I think this was really needed to really get to the bottom of this. Because for me, I'm starting to see some stuff go into this soup. It's starting to smell a little bit better. I think people are starting to poke their heads and kind of be like, hey, this is maybe the next soup party I want to check out. I think we just got to keep doing that. So that's incredibly exciting. And I want to say also too, congratulations to having Grelf
Oh,
listed on that centralized exchange. Is that, like,
oh,
really quick? We were talking about on the show today the importance of the accessibility of these assets across those different things. How's the project going? That's incredibly exciting to see.
so it's not available for trading yet. Just to clarify,
Okay.
they said it's coming soon. It's coming soon. It's probably going to get listed for trading sometime in July. I don't have a specific date, and that's mostly because this is the first HTS asset that Coinstore, the centralized exchange, is integrating. Right.
Mhm.
So, sometimes I mean, Hedera is different, right? They need some time to figure it out. They've got everything built for, EVM compatible chains, which Hedera is, but there's also some stuff that they are, learning about for the first time. What's exciting about this is not, oh, wow, I'm the first meme coin to get on a centralized exchange. That's great, whatever. But it's a pretty cost effective exchange. So after I'm integrated, it should be fairly easy for a lot of maybe not mega huge HTS projects to get integrated there as well. And I'm using it as kind of a stepping stone, right? We want Grelf to be healthy and successful before you get on a centralized exchange because there's lots of liquidity requirements, and sometimes you have to give them a share of token supply. And everybody freaks out about the whole market making thing every time an exchange goes live, and they're like, they're selling because when there's a volatile moment, they typically sell against it to keep the volatility down, which people don't really understand. Anyway, all that to say, all that to say is good.
I love that. And you bring up something important. And I think this is important for projects in Hedera to keep in mind as well, is, and I think this really hits at the core of things that we can focus on, is it's not just about putting exciting stuff in your own soup. It's also about bringing those ingredients to other soup parties and contributing. And that's kind of what you're talking about, is what can we do for other ecosystems? What can we do for other soups and not just our soup? Because I think if you help other ecosystems with their soup, they're more inclined to come over and help you with your soup. That's what we refer to in the industry as soup interoperability and cross chain, cross soup growth. And I think that's a big aspect we didn't get to touch on last time, which is not just contributing to your own soup, but contributing to the soups of other soups out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of little guys out there trying to have their own small soup party. But if we want to beat down and completely destroy Campbell's, which has always been the goal, then we have to work together to form a new conglomerate that can just completely erase Campbell's from the face of the earth.
I love that. I think that's a positive message, and I think that to any soup enthusiasts out there, really kind of reframe your thinking. Remember that it's not about taking the potato out of the soup. It's about rebalancing the potato to other ingredient ratio. It's about getting an exciting soup. The soup isn't always going to taste the best, but it's about moving forward, evolving, meeting the tastes of other soup enthusiasts, but also contributing to the other soups in the global soup ecosystem of all these different soup parties happening. And that's really, I think, what this is all about. So really appreciate you coming by, Gerbert. I think that for me, that really kind of nails it home for me in that regard. And I think alleviates a lot of the fears of people worried that we're talking about taking the potato out of the soup. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, we just want to engage that potato so that it's more appealing.
Yes. Absolutely. So, and lots of folks are leaving comments that also too, it's about all the different spoons and utensils and devices that we have to consume the soup, right? There's so many great wallets out there. There's so many great DAPs out there. I had a great experience doing the Pixfy Mint on the show just because I didn't have any time to do it beforehand. So I think that it's also about understanding we've got a bunch of different ways to consume the soup, because I think when we all enjoy the soup, when we eat the soup, that I think is when the magic happens. That is what Lehman is talking about. Lehman says you're going to have the soup in your belly and you're not even going to realize it. And so I think that is the key to mass adoption. That's the key to spreading the wealth, spreading the soup, is just realizing that all of these pieces have to work together. We have to go beyond the potato, but still respect the potato.
Yeah, we want people to smell what we're cooking here on Hedera.
Dig it, dig it. Well, Gerbert, appreciate you very much for stopping by. Always a pleasure, and always a wealth of insights. And again, not soup advice. Always perform your due diligence, and always trust in your taste buds. So, cheers to you, Grelf. Really appreciate you.
Thanks. Love coming on as always.
Right on. Okay, so great way to end the show. And I don't think there was a better metaphor than soup. I think, to be honest, I really think that we got somewhere with that. I'm not going to lie.